Hello, class 9th students. Greetings of the day. This is the second lecture of our chapter number 2, which is the Vedic culture. In last video, we have already studied about the society. We studied that how the family was the basic unit or the fundamental unit of society, and we have also studied that so many families together used to form a village, and the head of the village was Gramini, and so many villages used to make a Visha, which is today's district, you can say. And that Visha, the head of the Visha was called Vishapati. And we have also seen that so many Vishas used to make a state or a Jana or a kingdom, right? And the head of the Jana was Raja. So then we studied that the assembly of people, all people of that Jana were called Samiti. That assembly was called Samiti, and a council of elder was called Sabha. These Samiti Sabha, along with Vidhata, used to help the king to rule the kingdom or Visha. They used to advise kings, and they used to perform economic, military, social, and religious functions, right? And these were the three important assemblies which used to aid Raja in ruling. Okay, then we will study about now the division of society. The division of society on the basis of, we can say, uh, on the basis of Manusmriti, how Manusmriti divided the society into the four classes. As we have already studied that in 10th mandal of Rig Veda, we have studied one shloka that Brahmadosya Mukhmasit Bahu Rajanya Kirtaha Uru Tadasya Uru Tadast Yadesham Padabhyang Shudro Ajayat. It means that the Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras, these were the four classes. Right here, you can see Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras. Right, and as I have told you in the according to this shlok, or you can say sukt, which is also called Purush Sukt, it is said that the origin of these four classes is from Purush, or the body of man, and that body of man symbolizes, or the different parts of the body symbolizes the origin of these classes. Like the head symbolizes origin of Brahmin, and the bahu or arms symbolizes the origin of Kshatriyas, and it is said that Vaishyas originated from the stomach portion, and Shudras emerged from the foot portion, right? So the society was divided into four classes. The highest class was Brahmana. They used to perform religious rites or ceremonies. They were priests. And second class was Kshatriyas, they were warriors and ruling class. And third was Vaishya were the traders and businessmen. And the fourth was Shudras were laborers who served upper three classes. So the condition of Shudras was not very good. Their condition was very bad during Vedic period. And Vaishyas, these were the real people who used to earn money, right, and used to give momentum to the economy, right, economy boosters. And Kshatriyas were responsible for ruling the classes, ruling all these four classes as well as the kingdom. And Brahmins were a class of people who used to even control Kshatriyas. Brahmins were on the top of the society, right? Now, the next point is the life span of Vedic people was divided into four periods called ashrams, right? So they were having four ashrams, 25 years. One ashram, 25 years. One ashram was of 25 years. Brahmacharya, Brahmacharya ashram started from 0 to 25 years, and during this time means from 1 day to 25 years of age, The people during Vedic period were supposed to study. They were called students. And after once their 25 years of age were completed, they used to enter into Grasth ashram. Grasth means ghar, right? Means they were supposed to uh, take responsibility of household and to get married, right? So they used to get married, and they were supposed to raise a family, right, till 50 years. Then once their age 50 years age was completed, then they used to enter into Vanprasth ashram. For next 25 years they were supposed to take shelter in uh, one, or you can say in forest, retirement from the life, worldly life, retirement from worldly life. Then after that, they used to enter into sannyas ashram from 75 to 100 years. They used to become monks and renounce the world in order to attain moksha or salvation. So you can say a life cycle or a period of 100 year was divided into 25 years, into four groups of 25 years each. The first group was brahmacharya, then grasthashram, then vanprasthashram, then sannyas ashram, right? So this was all about society. Then one of the most important element of society is always women. Okay, so what was the position of women? During early Vedic period, the position of women was good. During early Vedic period, means during Greek Vedic period, they were allowed to choose their husbands. Marriage was Marriage age was 16 to 17 years. No child marriage was prevalent. Their presence at yajnas was must. So you can say during early Vedic period, the condition of women was quite good. Uh, they were even allowed to choose their life partners of their choice, and their marriage age was 16 to 17 years, right? And caste marriage was also prevalent. We get so many accounts where the higher class women got married with the lower class people. Means you can say the caste restrictions or caste barriers were not too much rigid during the early Vedic period. Then, during later Vedic age, all above rights were snatched away from them and their condition got deteriorated. So, their conditions became very bad, right? Earlier, their presence at yajnas was must. Later on, they were even ignored at the yajnas, and they were not even allowed to choose the husbands of their choice. Okay, so means during early Vedic period their condition was good, and during later Vedic period their condition got deteriorated. Then deteriorated means become worse. Then education. So education was imparted through Gurukul system. So there was Gurukul system, like today's school system is here, right? So ancient school system was called Guru system. All shishya or students or pupil used to reside at the all Shishyas, pupils used to reside at the home of Guru, right? At the home of Guru or teacher, and were treated like his own children. They were given education of Vedas, grammar, mathematics, ethics, and military science. No fee was charged from them, right? So means all students were supposed to reside at the house of the teacher, right? And they were not even charged money, right? They were not supposed to pay the fees, and these students were considered like the children by the teachers. And then the education was given in subjects like Vedas and grammar, mathematics, ethics. Uh, Ethics means what is wrong, what is right, okay, and your moral obligations, how you should behave, what is righteous behavior, okay, all these things comes under ethics, right? So ethics was taught to them. Military sciences, science of warfare was taught to them. Okay, so these things were taught at gurukuls. Then a voluntary Guru Dakshina was given by students on completion of their studies. Once their studies were completed, so voluntary Guru Dakshina was given to teacher, right? It depended upon the students whether they wanted to give or not. It was voluntary. Then food. Barley was a staple food crop. Wheat and rice were not known to early Vedic people. However, rice, which was also called vrihi, was grown by later Vedic people. Cows were domesticated, curd, butter, ghee, intoxicating drinks, sura were consumed. So, barley was the staple food, and uh, wheat and rice were not known to early Vedic people, but later on they started growing rice. Okay, then after that, cows were domesticated, curd, butter, ghee, intoxicating drink like sura, right? Intoxicating means the drinks which make you subconscious, liquors, okay, alcoholic drinks. Then dress. Undergarments were called nivi, upper garments were called vasa or shirt, overgarments were called adhivasa, and turbans were worn by people. Ornaments made up of gold, ivory were worn by both men and women. And sadhus wore animal skins like mrigchal. So you must have seen picture of sadhu or sages wearing skin of animal, especially of deer, okay, which was called mrigchal. Now, after that, we will study about the amusement. Amusement means how they used to amuse themselves or entertain themselves. So they used to entertain themselves by chariot races, okay, and horse races, dancing, singing, hunting, gambling. Instruments of music were drum, flute, mridang, and lute. Okay, so drum, flute, mridang, and lute were the uh, instruments of music. What were their religious beliefs? They feared natural forces, personified them, and worshipped them as God. So early Vedic people, they feared natural forces, right? And they worship them in order to get benefit from the natural forces. Okay, we can divide the religious belief of Vedic people into two categories: religious beliefs of early Vedic people, and religious beliefs of later Vedic people. So here the Rig Vedic gods, Indra was most important god during Rig Vedic period. So during Rig Vedic period, Indra was the most important god, and he was the god of rain, god of you can say thunder, right? Indra, the rain god. He was also called Purandar and Jitendra. Purandar means the breaker of the fort, right? The breaker of the fort. When they used to attack to each other's citadels or forts, right? So they used to seek help or they used to pray Indra, right? Purandar means the breaker of fort. Jitendra means the winner, the conqueror, right? So Indra was the god of rain. He was also called Purandar and Jitendra. Then Agni, they used to worship fire also, right? Because fire used to burn them. They were afraid of fire, right? So they started worshipping them. All the forces of nature were worshipped by early Vedic people. Then Varun, the god of water was called Varun. He was the god of water as well as sky, clouds, and oceans. Then the god of wind was called Vayu, right? So these were then after that, Surya was a sun god, right? And the lord of death was called Yamraj, okay. And god of storms was called Rudra. Goddess of dawn was called Usha. Dawn means morning, right? Early morning, Usha. Usha is a Hindi word for morning also. Then we are they personified to earth also and called it Prithvi. And the great mother of God was Aditi, and the spirit of night was Ratri. The lady of the forest was Aranyani, and the goddess of vegetation was Dishana. These were the early Vedic gods. Now, later Vedic gods. Later Vedic gods. Brahma or Prajapati, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, these three people, okay, Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh, right? These were the three important gods of later Vedic period. Brahma or the Prajapati, he was called the creator, became the supreme god. Indra and Agni lost their former significance. So Indra was the most significant god during the early Vedic period, but till the arrival of later Vedic period, uh, Indra lost its importance, and Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh, they became three important uh, gods, and Brahma became the most important god. He was the creator, and he was also called Prajapati. So Brahma, the creator, Vishnu, the protector, right, who was protecting the world, and Mahesh or Shiva was the destroyer, right. So these were the gods of later Vedic period. Now we will study about the sacrifices and rituals. So, with religious evolution, simplicity of nature worship was lost. When religion evolved, with the passage of time, the simple religion of Vedic people got changed into more complex. Its simplicity was lost. Ghee, milk, fruits, and grains were offered to God through yajnas. I have already told you how these were accepted by the gods, how in the form of smoke. Prohits were given a handsome amount, cows, gold, expensive clothes, etc., for performing yajnas. Right. So means. The karma kand, you can say, yajnas became more dominant, right. Ghee, milk, fruit, grains, okay, these were offered, and even the priest was given a very handsome amount, or cows or gold or expensive clothes, okay, for performing yajnas. These rituals had gained strong root, and even a small deviation while performing certain worship was considered sin, okay. So these became, you can say, something which was ought to be done. And if these yajnas were done during the time of birth of a baby, or at the time of death, uh, or so at some other occasions in the occasions also, right. So these yajnas were organized, and it was compulsory to organize all such yajnas, right. Even the poor people had to manage money, right, or arrange money for organizing such yajnas at home, at their home, right. In case when someone's father was dead, okay, and for the moksha of his father, right, moksha ki prapti, for that they organized these types of yajnas, and the priest used to, you can say, charge hefty amount of fees from them, right. So it was something very costly affair. Now next is new doctrines. The Brahmin were responsible for bringing about many innovations and evolving new doctrines like karma, dharma, and moksha, okay. So these doctrine of karma, deeds, doctrine of dharma, and doctrine of salvation, moksha, were evolved, and Brahmins played very crucial role, dominant role, in evolving such things. Then the last topic we will study about Vedic civilization or Vedic culture is economy. So the economy of Vedic people, the Rig Vedic economy was primarily pastoral. Pastoral means the economy which is based on cattle's, okay. Cow, which was called go was very important and sacred animal. So cow was very sacred animal. Even it is sacred animal even today for Hindus especially. Agriculture was secondary. Barley was important crop. So the means domestication of animal was the primary occupation, right? And agriculture was the secondary occupation during early Vedic period. Agriculture was secondary, barley was important crop. Other occupations like trade and commerce, dyeing, embroidery, carpentry, weaving, pottery, craft in gold and iron existed. So these works also existed. Then during later Vedic period, agriculture became the chief occupation, while domestication of animals also continued, right? So earlier, during early Vedic period or Rig Vedic period, the domestication of animal was chief occupation, right? And agriculture was secondary occupation. Now agriculture became during sorry now means during later Vedic period, the agriculture became main occupation and domestication of animal became the secondary occupation. Then land became the important source of wealth. Many new occupations like physicians, musicians, and many other professions emerged. So here land became important source of wealth. And here during early Vedic period, cow was the important source of wealth, right? Means cow was having very important role during Vedic period, and Vedic people used to fight wars, right? Not for grabbing land. Okay, early Vedic people used to fight battles or fight with each other just because of cows, which was called Govistes, right? They then later on land became more important and they started fighting for land. So this was all about Vedic civilization. I hope you must have understood everything. So thank you so much.